Hi, you're probably wondering how I got into this situation, how the robot overlords managed to take over so quickly. The answer is pretty simple. None of us listened. There were many warnings that this was coming, that the dystopian nightmare would inevitably become our reality. There was a philosopher who had written in the ancient scrolls who was tasked in warning the populace of our impending doom to give us time to prepare and perhaps fight back. I think you already know who I'm talking about. I'm, of course, talking about James Cameron, who in 1984 directed the feature film The Terminator featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie is necessary for today's purposes simply because it's a movie made by smelly, unwashed apes about giant chunks of metal that can think and try to murder everything sentient in their path. The film was a worldwide success because apparently the public was really into movies that made them paranoid of anything with a screen in the 80s. A year later, on the other side of the pond, some guy in England named Tom York was armed and dangerous, holding several homeless men hostage and threatening to shoot them if they didn't join his rock band. Desperate to avoid the cruel clutches of the devil for another day, the men relented and Radiohead was formed. Many people believe that Radiohead got their name from a Talking Heads song, but this is one of the liberal media's many lies that have spread like wildfire over the course of human history. Radiohead chose their name due to Tom York thinking that such a name was absolutely fucking hilarious, saying in an interview, "Radiohead? Heads are not radios, and radios are not heads. That is an impossible occurrence. Literally impossible. Not a chance." Tom York was then reported to have laughed for a solid 15 minutes straight, and the two journalists who conducted the interview were never found afterwards. Depending on who you ask, Radiohead was well known for either that one song about being a perverted weirdo that your mom likes a little too much, or that one album that people on the internet refuse to shut the fuck up about. Okay, computer. It's a pretty good album, although when I talked about it to that one girl I went on a date with for 4 hours straight, she left me mid-sentence and never answered my phone calls again. I decided to condense what the album is about so that I can finally get it off my chest, since someone didn't let me finish last time. Please take me back. The first song is called Airbag. It's called Airbag because of Tom York's habit of purposely getting into car crashes for the sexual pleasure he receives from the airbag each time. Paranoid Android is a song all about the schizoids out there who use Android devices out of paranoia that iOS is spying on them since it isn't open source. Subterranean Homesick Alien is about a Florida citizen with the home he's homesick for being hell, which is better than Florida in every conceivable way. Exit music for a film was meant to be featured in the 1987 feature film 3 Men and a Baby, but plans fell through when Tom York's existential dread didn't translate well with a shitty 80s comedy movie, so they decided to shove it onto their album about computers being worse than Hitler instead. Let down as the result of an error. When asked what the name of the song he had just submitted was, Tom York was distracted by his dog knocking cups and shit off his table, prompting York to yell, "Get down!" which the record executive heard as let down because of selective hearing developed due to how much the boss called him the same thing. Karma Police is about that one time Tom York learned what karma was from a policeman when he got into a fight with another drunkard at his local pub, and karma strike when the police arrested him for it. Fit or Happier was made as a joke. The record label kept bothering Radiohead to make another song for the album, so York said, and I quote, "Stick a finger up your ass, you raggedy fucking tosser." I don't know if he sounds like, and copy-pasted a bunch of tweets from a schizophrenic he followed on Twitter into a text-to-speech program. They convinced the faceless businessmen it was a song. Electioneering is a song that's actually somewhat upbeat on the album, which means Radiohead fans fucking hate it because they're all sad losers who want to feel like shit. I never said they were wrong for that, I just like making fun of people. Climbing Up the Walls is about how Tom escaped prison after the bar fight incident. Very standard narrative, doesn't come as a shock to anyone, but let's move on. No Surprises is at least partly about how much Tom York hates alarm clocks, which means he wrote the song about me. Lucky is about the Minecraft YouTuber Dream, who is famously very lucky for still having a career after not following me back on Twitter. And last, but certainly not least, The Taurus is about a fat white guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt at Disney World. Believe it or not, this album managed to stop a robotic revolution that would have likely resulted in the deaths of all humans. This is because of the album's title. OK Computer is meant to be read by the robots as a derogatory term, with computer meant to imply that the robots are just overgrown, mutated calculators just like normal computers are. This hurt their feelings so much that they surrendered to their smelly meat sack overlords who use them to mass produce goods. Thanks to Radiohead, I now know that if I want someone to give up on all of their life aspirations, all I have to do is make fun of them once. I would know. Someone called me a loser once and I've been in this prison ever since. Let's talk about the robots a little more. Tom York got the idea for OK Computer one night while fighting a gaze of raccoons for their precious garbage. Whether Tom York was visited by God or just on unfathomable amounts of LSD is unclear, but what is clear is that one of the raccoons told York to stop the robots at all costs before mauling him and leaving him to bleed on the grass. Tom is an intelligent man, and he understood the robot revolution wouldn't form as a bunch of cyborgs making American suburbs look like the set of a slasher film. They would likely try to make themselves appear to be useful gadgets for everyday life before slowly isolating people from the other people around them and generally making people feel much more miserable constantly before all humans either kill themselves due to declining mental state or kill each other due to how radicalized they all get. That's why he made this album about isolation that modern society has made all too common. That is the Terminator. Not a robotic killing machine, but a technological network that brings us together while also making each other more far apart than ever before. That takes us back to the prison I'm in. It's a prison in my mind. A prison of my own creation that I've put myself in. Whether it's because of the robots or because of people is hard to say. But what I do know is that I'm very comfortable here where I am right now. If there's one good thing about being in a prison, it's that you're protected from the outside. Thanks for watching.